I am talking, of course, about Atlantic Caravans, which is my dealership, which I think is the best in the country, which you might well say that I'm bound to say that. Um, Obviously not the biggest, probably one of the smallest, but we are restructuring. So I have put out on our website that we're changing the way we do things. And the reason I'm doing this video is because that has been taken as a kind of a negative slant on what's going on, because I think we're seeing other dealerships fail or pack up. Not, there's been a few others fairly recently. Obviously at the end and the beginning of this year, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, we saw some significant dealerships fail. And I think, unfortunately, fingers crossed we don't, but we may well be seeing a few more as we go into this round of changing from 2025 product into 2026, when some of the consolidations need to be paid, which can be significant. So as we get through into August and September, the bigger dealers have to pay off some of the stock that they've got on their forecourts in 2025. They already would have paid off the 2024 stock, so that would have been a hit to the business. As we start looking at the forecourts and seeing how much 2025 stuff there is around there, then I can only imagine that there's going to be some difficult conversations had with finance houses. And also, as the manufacturers then ask for 2026 products orders, again, you get into this situation where the dealers are thinking, well, we've got so much stuff, we don't want 2026. So I know that a lot of the manufacturers are reducing their hours, they're reducing their staff, and they're certainly reducing the amount of caravans they're going to produce for next year. So hopefully, keep fingers crossed, everyone can weather the storm until it picks up again, or how they restructure their business, which is exactly what I've done. I did put on my website that I was changing the way we do things, and like I said, it was viewed as negative. It's actually very positive, because what I've seen is, as our caravan sales reduce, which they have done significantly over the past number of years. I have done 120 some years, and we were down to like about 40 last year, which is pretty small. But you can survive on it when you're a smaller business. That's not the end of the world. But what it does do, it kind of feels to me like the tide's gone out and you see what's underneath the business. Because when you're selling lots of caravans, whether it be new or pre-owned, and the money's rolling in, you kind of don't really look at what's going on so much. Well, perhaps people that are better at running businesses do than I am. Yeah, maybe I'm not that great. But this has kind of gotten me to really look at what the core business is, and it is selling caravans. We have got a workshop, we've got an accessory shop, but essentially when you're selling lots of caravans, the workshop does the PDIs, does the warranty, and looks after those customers, where, to be frank, that's where we make the best chunk of money. When the caravan sales kind of drop, then you start looking at what the workshop actually does, and what the shop does, and how you run it and how you manage it. And unfortunately, I don't make a huge amount of money on the servicing side of things. I know there's lots of businesses out there that do, and again, they're probably a lot better at running it than I am. But when you look at what your the servicing costs are, the cost to run the workshop are, with wages and all the other stuff that you have to pay when you're doing servicing, it kind of pays for itself, which is good, because then your PDIs are essentially free if the business isn't making any money on this or kind of breaking even on the servicing, then the PDIs are kind of free. So as the caravan sales have dropped, I've looked at the workshop and looked at what it takes to run it, and quite frankly worked out that actually I'm better off probably renting it out and shutting the shop down than I am standing here for 8 hours, 5 or 6 days a week, and not making anything, because all I'm doing is paying the overheads that cost, because it costs a lot of money to run a business. To run a workshop and a shop as well. So luckily, I had a word with the guys that worked for me, and it was a tough conversation, or I thought it was going to be tough, but actually it was quite nice, because they wanted to take it on as their own business. So they basically rented the workshop off of me, and it's a good business, I think, because they've already got the customers, they've already got the infrastructure, they've already got all the tools and all that stuff. So I think they're going to do pretty well with that. They're majoring on water ingress and fixing things. Now, Unfortunately for you, all the issues that you see with the caravans, with the cant rails and the sunroofs and the bailey floors and all this kind of stuff, it is a bad thing. From their point of view, it's a good thing because it's going to give them work, you know, for a significant amount of time. They did a cant rail this week. They've done 2 bailey floors this week, so that is always going to keep coming in. The sunroof's going to keep coming in. So from their point of view, I know it sounds a bit selfish, but you know, it means that they're going to keep on getting quite a lot of work. So they'll do well with that. And then majoring on the water ingress work, which they're very good at actually, in the winter. So that'll be good. And then I'm going to shut the shop down during the week and just run at the weekends like we are today, because that's really when most people come and look at caravans. So I'm essentially only opening to sell caravans. Now, the other thing that I'm fairly fortunate to have is the yard that I currently own has got lots of free space. So I diversified, and this was kind of a thing I've been thinking about for a while, but I've been putting storage containers in. And I started that in December, and I put an advert on Facebook and Marketplace and that kind of thing, and I've now got 45, and I cannot keep up with the demand. And this is what that looks like. So as you can see, this is what 45 containers looks like, all lined up. I have got room for 80, but I'm not going to do that because I still need the space for selling the caravans, which I enjoy doing. And to be quite frank, I can kind of do fairly easily because I've been doing it 30 years, and when you've been doing it something that long, you kind of you get okay at doing it. So I'm still going to sell the caravans. I've got quite a few people messaging me from my previous contacts that I've had through the years with customers that I've sold caravans to. I got good relationships with people around here from the seasonal sites and also from static sites that, you know, sell me caravans. So I've got quite a few, you know, branches, ways of caravans coming in to me, and we've still got a good presence online and Marketplace and things like that to actually sell the caravans. So I'm still going to sell a few caravans. The containers I'm going to keep on going till I get to around about 60, and that will give me enough space to still do the caravans. So what it's essentially done is given me a lot more free time. So during the week, I don't have to be here. I'm not tied to the workshop. I'm not tied to the shop. I can shut that and the guys can just carry on and do what they want, and I can sell the caravans on appointment only. Now, I did get a phone call from Practical Caravan this week asking me about what's going on because I put some stuff on the website, and to be quite frank, I'd written it, and after reading it, it did sound a bit negative due to the downturn of caravan sales, and this is what we're doing and restructuring. It was supposed to be positive because I'm, like I said, diversifying. I've got more free time, and I'm kind of moving on the stuff that I struggle to make money on and keeping the bits that do, and adding the containers in as well. So I should, in theory, do better and have more time to do other things. But it didn't come across like that. And I think we all do it. I think it's you read the headline and then you kind of make up your own decision, your own mind of what's going on. Unfortunately, a lot of people thought we were going under, and that we couldn't service their caravans and things like that. So so I've now redressed that, or my wife has rewritten it in a more positive spin, and now hopefully that is kind of addressing those issues. But I think people do read the headlines and they think, oh, Atlantic Caravans in trouble and it's going under, but that's not the case. So that's what we're doing. We're restructuring. And I kind of ignored the comments because I thought, oh, it's only 1 or 2 people think that we're doing that. But actually, there's more and more people keep coming in saying, oh, you know, what's going on? And we're sad to see, you know, this thing happening. But again, it's a positive thing. So much so that I actually had a phone call from Practical Caravan editorial team the other day asking me about what's going on because of the things that I put on the website. And I had to explain that it was positive and that I'm not going under. And even after I'd said that, he did ask me whether anyone had lost any deposits on vans that were here. So it still seemed to be that the spin was another dealership goes under, and it was a negative spin. And so I had to really kind of explain. So no, in fact, we've actually sold more caravans recently in the last month than we have for a while. under this new kind of structure. So I was a bit worried that there was going to be another headline saying, dealership goes under, when it's not clearly, obviously, because that's why I'm doing the video. It's not the case. We are just, doing things in a little bit different way to kind of roll with the times. And like I said, hopefully we'll be in a position where if the market does pick up, then we can be in a good position to sell more caravans with less overheads, which is, from a business point of view, is great. It's great selling the caravans, but it's also, you've got to keep an eye on the overheads. That's the thing that can kill a business, is the outgoings, not the incomings. As soon as the incomings drop, the outgoings really, it sharpens the mind when your incoming caravan sales and the money you're making on those is significantly lower than what it was, and you really start looking at all those bits that you think, well, I could do without that, and I can do without this. So that's where we are. We're continuing on, just in a different guise, and hopefully everything will be rosy and hunky-dory. So I will be here at the weekends, not during the week. If people do need to come in have a few bits and bobs for the foreseeable future, I'm going to see what happens. Probably get to the end of September, maybe end of October, and then I'll be able to shut all winter, because quite frankly, there's nothing going on at all in the winter. Certainly not worth opening for a few bits of toilet chemical and things. So yeah, there you go. Put your comments in below if there's anything to say. But this is a bit more of a kind of a personal video rather than going on about some of the stuff I have been going on about. But I'll still be doing more YouTube videos. I can't seem to stop, even though I think, why am I bothering? Because I'm kind of reducing what I'm doing. But I seem to kind of want to keep abreast of things and hopefully help to make things better. And whether that is achievable or not, I have no idea. Like, subscribe, and do all that kind of thing. And I will see you in the next video.